Welcome to another episode of Parenting Matters with McCracken. We've been talking about correcting our children, but doing it in a context of some foundational issues that impact not only how we correct our children, but how our children respond to our correction. And you can look at the previous videos to see what we've discussed there concerning the teaching that we do of our children and the quality of our relationship with our children, which are layers in that foundation. Another layer that a lot of people don't get is the layer of our relationship with our spouse, the other parent of our children. We want to ask consistently and proactively, what is the quality of my relationship with my spouse? Because it does have an impact on our ability to effectively correct our children. It's an element that's super important. Think about your own growing up years. When you heard your parents arguing in front of you, what did that do to your own security level? What did that do to your own sense of stability in your world? And then when a parent would try to correct you, what was your response, knowing that your own parents weren't getting along together? Now, not every child reacts in the same way, and I don't want to suggest that it's impossible to correct your children well if you have some problems in your marriage. But I am confident that the way that God created the family unit is to express his love for his people, for his children, and that the ideal is when the two parents are getting along well together and the quality of their relationship is strong, it will positively impact the way that they're raising their kids, including in the area of correction. Now, I'm well aware that there are people watching this video right now who are divorced or who are widowed or who are on the edge of divorce. And I don't want to suggest for a moment that a single parent can't raise their child well. There are a lot of single parents who have picked up the pieces after being abandoned or after being having to leave an abusive marriage. And they've done a fabulous job. But I think most single parents I know personally would agree that the ideal is not a single parent doing it on their own. And the ideal is not a broken, sick, dysfunctional marriage trying to raise children, but rather the ideal is as God intended, that a husband would love his wife as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her, washing her with the water of the word, that a wife would respect her husband, and that together they would grow in honoring one another, cherishing one another, loving and serving and encouraging each other, and that marital relationship would be the priority relationship in their lives, and that every other relationship flowing down from that, including the child-parent relationship, would then be healthier because the marriage is healthy. That's the ideal. And if you're in a marital situation now and you're allowing the children to be the priority in your life, or other relationships to be the priority, or other things to be the priority, I want to encourage you to take a good, hard look at your own marital relationship and how that is impacting the way you're raising your kids. The quality of my relationship with my children depends largely on the quality of my relationship with their mother. And in fact, the very best gift you can give your kids is a good relationship with your spouse. And I want to encourage you to do whatever it takes to do that. Regular date nights, regular times of sitting down and praying together, regular times of sitting down and saying, what's on your mind? What's on your heart? How can I pray for you this week? regular times of discussing meaningful questions that will help you grow in your intimacy with one another. Regular time of setting goals that you can pursue together for building up your own relationship as well as your relationship with your children. One of the things that Vicki and I used to do on a semi-regular basis was to bring a notebook out on a date with us. Now, normally on our dates, we didn't spend a lot of time discussing kids. We really wanted to focus on our relationship with each other. But once in a while, we would bring a notebook and we would talk about each of our children, and we would look at what are the areas in which they're strong that we really want to encourage them, and what are some areas where they're weak that we really want to shore up together, that we want to be on the same page in looking at the needs of our children and how to do that together. Well, that strengthened our relationship as well, because we were talking about something meaningful that was important to both of us that we could pursue as a team together. But other dates had nothing to do with the kids. They had to do with having fun, with relaxing, with encouraging one another, with talking about things that were of meaning and value, with talking out tensions or issues that were coming up between us. But whatever it is and however you do it, this will impact your children directly or indirectly, positively or negatively. Some parents may punish their kids too harshly because they're upset with their spouse, and instead of dealing with the issues with their spouse, they're taking it out on their kids. Other parents may spoil their kids to get them to like them so that they'll feel loved by somebody, since they don't feel so loved so well by their spouse. And some parents are trying to, prove that they're the favorite parent of their kids. And all of these are the result of a dysfunctional marital relationship. There may be other ways that the child indirectly or directly gets used or abused or neglected or disturbed. But the marital relationship should be the central priority relationship in your family. In significant ways, it affects all other relationships. So the first and most important thing you can do for your children is to love each other well. We'll talk about the next layer in the next episode.